Hello everyone, what's up? My name is Froze Nubia, and today I'm going to be reacting with Parker again. This time we're going to be reacting to 5 creepy last words from executed criminals. If you hear stuff in the background, never mind that. Parker's about to leave, and here we go. It's a bit blurry at the beginning, I know. This time Parker's actually going to be...
This was a request by one of our dedicated viewers, so in return I decided to do today's topic on 5 creepiest last words from executed criminals. Try and answer the question that I have for you guys at the end of the video. Number 5. John Jenkins, along with 3 other accomplices, were convicted felons who had escaped from jail and had ended up on Dr. Robert Wardell's estate. Dr. Wardell was a barrister who, along with his partner Wentworth, ran a private newspaper company called The Australian. The 2 men had spotted Jenkins along with 2 of his partners in the bush. The 2 men exchanged words, and Dr. Wardell was shot dead by Jenkins. A week later, the 3 men were apprehended and trialed. Jenkins revealed that his motive for killing Dr. Wardell were not for gains, but rather revenge for suffering countless beatings that he claimed to have received while serving time in Wardell's prison. He also added that Dr. Wardell was a tyrant. Jenkins was set to be executed on November of 1834. Right before his death, he muttered his last words, which were, "Let every villain shake hands with himself." Number 4. Robert Alton Harris was a murderer who in 1978 was charged with the murder of 2 teenagers in San Diego. The day of their murder, the 2 innocent boys, who were both 16 at the time, were good friends who at the time were sitting in a green Ford LTD eating a hamburger. The duo had a plan to celebrate their newly acquired driver license by going fishing. In the other hand, Robert Alton had a different plan that day, to rob a bank. Robert, who at the time was 25 years old, and his younger brother Daniel, who was 19, walked up to one of the boys and commanded the boy to drive them all the way to a lake. They had told the teenagers that they would use their car for a robbery. Once they got to their destination, the brothers ordered the boys to kneel down, where one of the boys began to cry. In response to that, Robert told the boys to stop crying and to die like men, then shot both dead. On the way to a different home, they finished the victims' half-eaten hamburgers. Then they went on to rob the Mira Mesa branch of San Diego Turn & Saving Bank and left with about $2,000. Robert Alton Harris was sentenced to death at San Quentin's, while his brother Daniel served 6 years and was released in 1983. Right before the execution of Robert, he whispered, "You can be a king or a street sweeper, but everyone dances with the Grim Reaper." He was then escorted into a gas chamber where his afterlife will be spent dancing with the devil. Number 3. John Amy Bell was a criminal who in July 19, 1831 was charged and convicted with the murder of Richard F. Taylor, a 13-year-old boy. Prior to the murder, the 13-year-old boy was the son of a poor man who ordered the intelligent boy to go to Elsford so he can go pick up a sum of 9 shillings. This was a usual errand for the boy, in which he usually returned at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But that afternoon he did not return home. The father was shocked by this and decided to go to Elsford himself so he can go and search for the disappeared boy. It wasn't until a month later that the boy's body was discovered in a wooden ditch, 2 miles from Rochester. Most of his body was decomposed, but there was an apparent wound around his throat which looked like it was done by a sharp object. A thorough investigation was done and a corroded knife.
We'll be right back, everyone. Hold on. We'll be right back. Sorry about that, everyone. We're back.
It was concluded that the knife belonged to John Amy Bell, who lived in a poorhouse which was near the spot of the murder. At the Rochester trial, James admitted to the murder, and he was sentenced to death and was set to be hanged. The boy showed firmness even after learning that he was to be executed, but became emotional when he heard that his body was to be dissected after his death. The act of dissecting a body after death means humiliation and disgrace. As he made his way to the scaffold, he said, "He, the murdered boy, is better off than I am now, don't you think, sir?" This was said in reference to his dissection that was to be done after his death. But even more chilling words came of his mouth right before his hanging. These were the last words that he said, "Lord have mercy on us, all people before me, take warning by me." What made it chilling about these words is the fact that these words came out of a 14-year-old boy who was set to be hanged. John Bell became the last person under 16 years old to be executed in Britain. As of 1908, the Child Act was passed, which disallowed a child to be executed in Britain. Number 2.
Okay.
In 1991, Mario Benjamin Murphy was a 19-year-old Mexican hitman who was paid $5,000 to kill James Ratcliffe. This whole plan was organized by Jane Ratcliffe's wife and her boyfriend, all in the motives of claiming $100,000 in insurance policy. Murphy had recruited other people in order to carry out this murder. Mario's murder weapon was a steel pipe, which he had used to bash Navy Petty Officer James Head into pieces. All those implicated in the murder were captured, and in 1997 they were all trialed. Murphy, who had no previous criminal record, was sentenced to death, whereas others who were implicated received a lifetime sentence. Several say that his trial was unfair because of his Mexican nationality. The 19-year-old death row inmate was never told about his rights, and by the time he knew about that, it was already too late. Right before his death, he left the world with these cold words: "Today is a good day to die. I forgive you all. I hope God does too." Number 1. Aileen Wuornos was known as the most brutal female serial killer in the world. Her early and miserable past of being pregnant, and having been raised by a grandfather who molested children and psychopath who later hanged himself in prison may have been the imprints which led her to her dark future. During the late 80s, she started working as a prostitute in Florida. She would hitchhike in the highway in order to pick up customers. On December 13th of 1989, the body of Richard Mallory was found in Daytona Beach, along with several gunshots to his body. A couple months later, several other bodies were found as a result of shooting. Aileen was tied to the killings of many as 7 men, which she said was performed in self-defense. After her 2-week trial, Aileen was sentenced to death and was plead guilty to the murders of 7 men, of whom one whose body was not found. She was to be executed on October 9th of 2002. Right before her death, she said, "I'd just like to say that I'm sailing with Rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th, like the movie, Big Mothership and all. I'll be back." Her body was then lethally injected. If you're interested, there are several clips of her in the description box down below. Do you think that the death penalty should be allowed at all? Comment down below. Also, if you would like to see more of her stuff, click the big subscribe button so you can stay updated with our latest videos. Thanks and goodbye.
Well, honestly, at the end, I think it would mean yes, but only for certain reasons. I wouldn't say, for an example, if they killed, or they're trying to take over the world, like Hitler, for an example, and they catch them, well, yeah, put them to death. Or if they kill, people, but more than a few, way more, then yeah, put them to death. If they kill, 1 or 2, jail for a while, heck yeah, jail. That's always an option. But if not, I wouldn't really take it that far. So what I'm saying, yes, I would do that. My answer would be yes. And I know I'm only a kid, but sometimes it could matter. You never know. So, but anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you all. I'll see you on the next video.